Hello everyone, this is Hava from Hava Wellness. I'm so excited, and I think it will be a last meeting before the holidays. I think so. I'm so excited. I have amazing program, many questions, and and I think listen, we are here to empower each other to heal. You helping me, and I'm helping you, and this is beautiful. That's how it should be. We empower each other, and that's the beauty in it. Come join me, and let's bring Natasha, and we have so many incredible tools to empower you and teach you. And yeah, I'm so excited. Okay. And yeah, I mean, looking forward for another beautiful session. We have so many tools. It's not only stuff that you hop in, it's also how you use your hands into healing. Many people are afraid to touch and feel their own body, have a hard time to understanding that your hands are also a tools. Okay, let me see again. Okay, Natasha joined, but you have to join me right now. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. Hello, hello. Okay, it shows me again it's unable to join. Hopefully that Natasha will figure out how to join quickly. Send request. Okay, hopefully now. It's always, here we go. Amazing, good. That's it, you joined, amazing. Everybody's so busy for the holidays, so yeah, it's okay.
No, I mean, what it is if the request doesn't come in, then I can't join. If I just tap on your live, it won't join. So it has to be a request that's sent.
Yes, exactly. So I send you each time. What I do is I send the request and I'm waiting for you, and then you just have to accept the request. Amazing.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's go.
Let's go. So I was thinking to, I think it slowly settles in people's minds about how digestion plays an important role in our life. So I was still thinking to go over the 10 keys. So that way, we continue pushing the education, and it just takes time to settle in minds. But I was thinking go over 10 keys for gut imbalance, and so that way people might think, oh, if I have a headache, oh, that's actually connected to my gut. So I think this is very important to just go over this over and over and over.
Yeah. So, the body tries to communicate with us in many ways. And since we are more microbes than we are human cells, the microbes play an integral part in having the body process the food, rebuild itself, and eliminate the toxins. When this process is hampered, like it is in the United States, because we have 80% of people chronically ill, then the body starts talking to us, either with a headache or a migraine or skin conditions or, irritable bowel, meaning that whatever we eat doesn't sit well with us. We have problems with it. We feel joint pains. We feel tired all the time. It means that our body is not processing the food and converting it into energy and eliminating the waste. Because if it's not eliminating the waste, it means toxic buildup can be anywhere in your body. And that's what leads to premature aging, inability to think clearly and positively, because your thinking process is also affected by your microbiota that sends messages via your vagus nerve to the first brain. And believe it or not, the neurons in your first brain also have bacteria in them. So not knowing and being ignorant about bacteria is like buying the wrong computer program and trying to run your desktop with the wrong computer program. Unfortunately, more people are in tune with their phones and their desktop than they are what really fuels our body and keeps us healthy. And I think that's the point I want to make today, that anything that goes wrong in the body has a connection with the microbiota. The microbiota help the body either to stay young and process things properly or to age and get disease. Because every minute your body has to make 10 million new cells. And if those 10 million new cells are defective and not made well, then you're not going to be healthy. Does that make sense?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I wrote. I wrote the 10 keys and I wanted to mention digestive problems and exactly what you said. So whoever is suffering from bloating, diarrhea, having problem with constipation and a heartburn, this is all about gut imbalance. Next, all the skin issues, right? We
Yes.
want to mention the skin issues like acne. If you have someone who is suffering from acne, instead of putting them on medication and suppress the inner voice, you actually need to understand that's a gut imbalance. Then eczema, gut imbalance, psoriasis, rashes, any stuff like that, that's right away connected to the gut imbalance. I also rosacea, right? How we say
No, rosacea. Yeah, all of those diseases is connected to a particular problem in a specific place in the 27 feet of digestive tract. And I think that the reason that people have been dumbed down is they think that this is not connected to what everything else is going on in the body. And that's yeah, good that you're mentioning all of the problems like rosacea, psoriasis, acne, pimples, anything that the redness in the skin indicates inflammation. Uh, Inflammation in the joints like arthritis, anything that makes your joints ache or the inability to replace muscle or replace anything that's vital to the body is a problem with digestion, absorption, and recreation of the body every year. So you're absolutely right. And most people run to their doctor and it's like your body is separate. They're going to treat this symptom with these drugs, and then without you making any changes, it's supposed to miraculously change.
right.
One of the biggest problems we have today is number one, the use of products that stop the production of acid. Anything like a proton pump inhibitor. Oh, I have indigestion, so I'm going to take this drug. We have to really spend time explaining to people what this does. And I just spent time with a naturopathic doctor talking about all these products like Ozempic, GLP-1s, and that are misused because many people getting a far too great a dose for their body to tolerate. And so that's why they start losing muscle mass. They start having all kinds of problems when they're on these products because you're messing with a very fine-tuned machine, which is your body. Your body is a really fine-tuned machine. And especially when you start playing around with hormones like GLP-1 or GIP, your body will just listen to what the amount of hormones you're pumping into it. And that's why we see women with chronic constipation, women with inability to think clearly. That's related to when your body,
I have
uh,
a in
yeah,
that, right. I wanted just to add the sugar cravings. It's another one. The
yes,
fatigue that you mentioned also, that can be muscles and even fatigue, thinking, and mood swings, mood changes, all the mood changes, ladies over there, and men,
yeah,
and the children. When you have a child misbehaving, please just in a simplified manner look into the gut health. That's how simple it is,
yep,
gut
yep,
health. Forget about paralyzing the stomach. Forget about causing more damage. It's just so simple. Just understand that's a gut imbalance. Thank you, Natasha, for also saying that all these medications that are suppressing. Now let's say about brain fog, the same thing. Oh, I have a brain fog. What, can you give me some medicine? It's not. It's a gut issue. No, actually, while you've been talking, I was thinking this Dr. Norman Walker, the one who started the whole idea of juices, and he lived over 90 years old, and he created a whole a map of a digestive system, and he showed the transfer colon. He basically showed the whole image of the colon, and then he put all the diseases where they located, but it's all in our gut. So this is in simplified method. He just really showed you, oh, if you have a pain here, that's connected to your head. Oh, here's your eyes. Here, like, people still have a hard time to understanding, but in the simplified method, if you look up a Dr. Norman's Walker chart, you will see right away all the problems that we speak here are connected to your gut. I think slowly people waking up. That's good thing.
Well, you know what? Chinese medicine that's thousands of years old, they have a chart of the body, and they can tell you when they diagnose a skin problem, a brain fog problem, a joint problem. They can tell you specifically what area to the digestive tract, this 127 feet, that area which is in trouble is causing this to manifest in the body, which we then try to treat without looking at the whole body. And that's why people take one medication on top of another medication, not understanding that each disease in the body has its origin somewhere in the 27 feet of GI tract. And this is what we need to keep pounding into people. And what it is that people don't have a expert, anybody who's been dedicated in the field to tell them what they need to do to fix that. They waste money running to the stores, but one's buying yogurt, the other one's buying kefir, the other one's buying kombucha. It's a whole mess. Nobody knows what to do. They just think, oh, we're going to take this magic product and it's going to go away. It is much more serious, much more complex today. And we really have to get serious about changing the health in the US, from the mothers to the children, to the drugs that are given to children to keep them quiet in school. It's playing havoc with their brain. All of these things are a result of people being torn away from the centuries old proven methods of what is healthy and what is not. And that's what you're talking.
Weight gain. I also wanted to speak about that. Yesterday I've met someone, and they've been actually, they're in the medical field, but they never realized that the doctors actually wanted to remove a part of her thyroid, and then the woman decided to go on a clean diet, and she was able to help herself just by eating clean, and restoring her microbiome, and she was able to lose weight. And the doctors like been in shock, but they even didn't ask, what did you do? All what they said, they just, you have to continue taking the medicine, just as a like, it's, I mean, just, don't you understand, it's in a simplified manner. Just even weight issues are connected to your gut health.
Absolutely. Absolutely. People stop talking about yeast overgrowth and candida. And I think all these people who are morbidly obese do have a candida problem. And it is a problem where the candida wants the sugar. That's why you have the sugar craving, or even some pathogenic bacteria will actually produce chemicals to stimulate you so that you're hooked on sugar. And sugar, how shall I say, dependency on sugar has become a national problem here, a real national problem, because people, and especially the children, constantly are looking for some way to get sugar into their bodies, which is actually extremely destructive for their mental and physical health.
Now, Natasha, actually, I think yesterday I saw one case of child who has ADHD, and I saw how much he'd been craving marshmallows and donuts and more
Yeah.
marshmallows. and more and then chocolates and then more food and then I see right away, and now it is absolute candida because that's causing these cravings nonstop. Feed me more, and
Mhm.
that's also can create huge imbalance in the head because then there is no nourishment that get been absorbed or digested, and the candida enjoying these delicious fruits, and the child is not getting better. So that see, this is incredible. That's another wonderful point that you just mentioned. I think that it's very important for people to understand, and you can see right away people who do have cravings. Right away you need to connect, oh, there is a candida overgrowth, and then we have the tools, and you don't have to go crazy on a certain diet, but yes, you need to restore your microbiome and obviously avoid the garbage. Actually, I wanted to ask you a little bit. I've heard about, well, first of all, I've never actually heard of someone who've been on the carnivore diet. Well, all these things about the carnivore diet, eating a lot of,
Mhm.
well, I obviously, I don't understand. And when people come and tell me that they now found this an amazing diet, I always very suspicious because I try to be more centered than going to the right and left and just taking whatever noise is out there. And the interesting part was that person told me he started feeling much better while he was on the carnivore diet. And the interesting thing that I've heard, that I've never heard about that thing, that usually people go to the bathroom every 2 weeks when they are only eating carnivore. Can you explain
Yeah.
the hell is
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. Okay, so that everybody understands that I understand the carnivore diet. I used to do shows with the famous Dr. Atkins in the 1990s, and he was the one of the ones who promoted this all meat fat diet,
Yes.
no carbs. And yes, he personally lost a lot of weight on this diet, and the problem is that there's nothing inside the body to process this into appropriate feces that can move through the body and come out because there's not enough bulk. And I'm getting technical here and being very to the point because people don't understand. Yes, the carnivore diet is great, but the people who survived on carnivore diets, remember, they develop specific microbiomes that can deal with this. And most of the people cannot deal being strictly on a carnivore diet. And that's what I'm saying. Carnivore diet works, but the minute you get off of it, you start gaining the weight again. So that means you've trained your body to get this one type of nourishment. You're not feeding any candida, you're not feeding any bad organisms. But if you can never get off of this diet, you haven't cured the problem. You've just put it in a corner. And the minute you're off the diet, the problems all come back. So that's why I believe it's not a healthy diet. It's not sustainable because very few people can sustain this for more than a couple of years. And then they get tired of the diet and they said, heck, I can't live like this anymore. And
But
and then you have the same problem.
I think Natasha, even Atkins' diet was a little bit more loose than the one that I hear now. We're talking people who are waking up and having three steaks a day, and that's the whole thing what they eat, or they have like they don't even have any much of vegetables. So we're talking about only eating meat.
Yeah.
That like I think that's a little bit
No,
crazy.
no. Atkins didn't allow any vegetables. He did allow fat. He did allow fat. It's fat and meat. That was it. It was also the Palm Beach diet. It was also
Okay.
similar to Atkins. It allowed some vegetables, but the point is it's not a natural diet. The
Exactly.
problem is it's a diet you can't sustain because the cravings become too bad because you get tired of going out and not being able to eat anything. You got to bring your own thing. And plus, it's not sustainable because if you check the price of steaks, not cheap.
True that, but what I feel is that whenever the person go on any sort of a diet, let's put it this way, the person goes into any sort of, it doesn't matter if it's a plant-based, if it's a this diet or carnivore diet or this diet or that diet. I actually want to simplify this in a very simple way. It's actually, you are no longer eating basically the garbage that you've been eating. And that's why we can say that obviously, if you stay away and you eat clean and you no longer eat a packaged food, you will see some sort of a good reaction. The body will suddenly will tell you, oh my gosh, thank you, no more potato chips, no more the cookies and the cakes, right? So that's, and I would say this is an immediate reaction, and that's a common sense that usually happens. But then exactly what you mentioned, it's unsustainable, because by the
No,
end, we come from a different regions in the world. We used to a different varieties of food. Actually, the whole entire week I was learning about the Georgian diet, because I was like, not Georgian, but but from that region, and I wanted to see what my ancestors been eating, and then I realized the walnuts, the spinaches, and the way how they've been cooking and how they've been preserving the food. And it's just so amazing. Why we just don't go back to the same roots and we learn about that and just empower this instead, eating the garbage food. So yeah, so I agree with you. It's unsustainable. It may be good for the beginning, but then can cause a lot of troubles. And I did
yeah,
see people go on a raw vegan diet and become absolutely healthy, but in a couple months something happens and they are go absolutely off the chart in any sort of either deficiency or problem. People who go on a meat, they're also gonna for some time and then they slide off back. So why just not to live a normal, regular life and enjoy the fruits and vegetables and grains and nuts and
no.
seeds and
Look,
stuff that
if you restrict any part of the diet, you will lose weight. You will lose weight. I mean, Pritikin was a terrible diet. It was in the 1980s, no fat, everything low fat. And I told him, you guys are going to look like dried up prunes when you age. And exactly, they, the skin was all folded and they all looked gray. And finally, they figured out this is a terrible diet because it's not, this initial health benefits didn't hold, they waned. So this is where the craziness is, that I think all of us as a group need to grow up. We're listening to too many people who have a marketing plan. They just package and they say, oh, take this. This is a special thing. You don't have to think. You can just be, carefree. And we're going to take care of everything in this complex body. Well, they don't make the rules, and neither do you and I. And the rules are that we're all built somewhat differently. And I can just tell you, because I come from the former Yugoslavia, and my mom, I kept telling foods, we didn't eat anything raw. My mother wouldn't permit me to eat anything raw. Everything had to be cooked. The only thing we were allowed to eat raw was onions and tomatoes and green lettuce, and that was during the summer. But we all had canned fruits and vegetables for the winter. So I said, and people were healthy over there. They were not, sick like people are here. They had generations of testing what diets keep people healthy. This is what we don't have in this country. And people who were eating, even the American diet, were healthier in the 1950s than they are now.
right.
So, so let's go back. Even though they criticize the diet of too much fat, too much meat, if you look at the people, what were the percentage of people who were overweight in the 1950s? Very little. What the percentage of people who are chronically ill and overweight now? It's exponentially higher. So whatever we've listened to, or whoever we listened to, didn't have our best health in mind. There were people trying to sell us a program that initially gave us results, but but it crumbles. After a while, it just crumbles because your body needs nutrients. That's how we were designed. Certain vegetables have certain nutrients, and the reason you see people developing allergies to simple things, even like garlic or other vegetables, is because your immune system has now become so oversensitive that anything that triggers a result, the body wants to get rid of.
Yep. And well, we had on our show, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, someone who said that she's allergic to apples. Even apples are
Yeah.
already a trigger.
Yeah, it could be because of the pesticide, you
Right.
know, and even organic apples. I tell people, I was one of the original people in the health food industry. We ate organic from the country that I came from. My mother cooked everything fresh. The problem is that the fields are next to each other, and the contaminated field could be next to an organic field, and there is cross contamination. I don't care what anybody tells you. And there's nobody really going around and testing this ground to make sure that the ground is not contaminated. It's the same thing with GMO. They tell you you can't have, organic corn on this side and then GMO corn on this side, because the GMO corn will cross pollinate and contaminate the organic. And in a couple of seasons, you won't have any more organic. So the lack of knowledge or in-depth knowledge is what's causing the social breakdown, and the fact that we're raising children that are not healthy, teenagers that are not healthy, people committing suicide because they're so unhealthy. It's a complete tearing down of our social fiber. And we listen to too many people. This is why I'm doing this with you, because I want to get back to the basics. I want to teach the mothers. I want a group of mothers to start listening. We have to have a group like we did in the beginnings of the health food industry, to stop listening to the next person who told you something on TikTok or even on a podcast. These people do not have in-depth knowledge. They have book knowledge. They have article knowledge. They have maybe chat GBT knowledge, but they don't have in-depth knowledge, which is what we're lacking today.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I also, when the frequent itchiness, when people have a frequent itchiness in any part of their body, that's also gut imbalance. And we have somebody who's asking a question, if you would like to answer. So
Mhm.
what is the balance to address candida and getting a good flora?
Yeah, well, any kind of itch, is candida.
Wanted you to speak about the itch.
Yeah. And candida, look, that's why we offer free of charge, and you can get it through Hava, a low carbohydrate diet that I developed more than 20 years ago with a medical doctor. And we don't charge you for it. It was based on the knowledge we had from many books that were written in that era. The problem is the candida never went away. We just stopped talking about it. And the itch again is the candida causing irritation and causing itching. And you may even now, what's become really bad is that even if you take blood tests, you don't always show the immune system response to candida, which is puzzling to me, because it's somehow managed not to be detected, when you do the blood test screens. But I'm saying, if you have foggy memory, if you're constantly having mood swings, if you have, rashes on your body, a rash is usually caused by the body trying to expel toxins that it can't expel the right way, either through sweat, feces, or in any other way that the body expels toxins. Okay.
Right.
So if it's not able to do that, it's got to come out through the skin, and the skin talks to us. A rash is not just a nuisance. This body is telling us, hey, I've got a problem here. I'm not able to eliminate the toxin the natural way, so it's going to come out the skin.
Right. Right. So what would suggest besides the diet, also the application? I suggested people doing soaking or applying superdaphilus probiotic
Mhm.
over the area. I think we did cover also once that we can mix this with coconut oil or shea.
And put it, yeah, make a paste, put it on the skin. Okay, so you're doing it. So candida today is probably much more troublesome than it was even 10 years ago. So
Right.
superdophilus, we know in studies that we've done that it can, inhibit the growth of candida, but it takes much more today than it did even 5 years ago. Why? The environment has changed, our immunity has changed. So I always tell you, yes, start with superdophilus. You may need the bulgaricum. We have to make specific combinations for everybody because our conditions are specific. And we can start, the good news is that any of the products we make are not toxic to you. We can make a specific thing, but if you don't take care of it, there's going to be other problems that are going to manifest, because if the body's speaking to you, by creating a rash, it means you've got an overgrowth of candida. You can get rid of the rash by going to your dermatologist, and he's going to tell the skin to shut up and don't send that message anymore.
Or
But
give
you're not getting,
antibiotics. Or give
pardon me?
antibiotics. They give
Well, no. If it's candida, the antibiotics don't touch it. That's
right?
the problem. And antifungals are very, very difficult to take. I can assure you of that. And they have to be very careful. So it is a very complex problem. The best way to do it is some way that it doesn't hurt your body organs and that it's natural. And you just have to eliminate all processed food and all sweets. You know, you can occasionally have a little bit of honey, but follow the low carb high diet. Take the superdophilus, take the bifidobacter, take the bulgaricum, and work your way up to the Trenev trio.
So what I did, I usually what I do in the beginning, as I said, what I try to do is first receive the good bacteria. So we're gonna start with the superdophilus, but what I do is I slowly go through Bulgaricum, bifidonate. We feed which one it works nicely, and then give usually as the crown, which is the Trenev trio. This is how it looks like, my dear people, and
Mhm.
contains all the essential bacteria combined together, and it comes in oil. And because it comes in oil, you don't have to really worry when you're taking it, because it will absorb slowly and will work with your digestion. What I love about this one, it's when we work with the powders, then you can swish it in your mouth, swallow it. But when we work with this one, then we are not afraid. We just swallow it, and it's okay. Even take it with food, right, Natasha? That's what usually.
Yeah. Well, okay. So let me explain. The reason we put it in an oil matrix
Yeah.
is because stomach acid does not break down oil.
Mm-hmm.
Stomach acid only breaks down protein. Okay, that's why it has to dump the food once the protein is digested, and it dumps the food into the small intestine where carbohydrate digestion takes place. And then the bile that's delivered to by the gallbladder. And first of all, the liver stores it in the gallbladder. The gallbladder makes it available to you, and it emulsifies the oil. So you have to, in order to produce a safe and effective probiotic, you have to understand basic physiology. Most people who sell these products just tell you what you want to hear. Has absolutely no connection to science or how your body works, or the fact that it probably is trying to take care of a symptom, rather than our whole process here, Hava, is to teach people how to bring their system, the whole system, back into a normal phase. And it's going to take a while because we really wrecked it with drugs, with quick fixes, with taking parasite cleanses. This one's taking a colon cleanse, has no idea what it's going to cause in the long run. It just, we're a society that's used to have a 20-second attention span and to take quick fix to a very complicated problem. Your body is not simple. And it's, you know, you go on extreme diets. There's a diet that works for everybody based on your genetic background. The thing is, and I think the reason I'm doing this with you, that you have to take a really sound and good probiotic, because if you live in the United States of America, I can assure you, you've had some damage done to your microbiome. It just happens to be a matter of fact. There's very few people that have not had their microbiome damaged. And that's why by the time people are 50 in this country, they're on 4 or 5 pharmaceutical drugs. And that's not only killing the people, it's killing our economy, it's killing everything. And as adults, we have to stop thinking that way. We think of a complex problem with a simple solution. We are bearing sick children. The rate of autism is accelerating with no stopping in 4 years to 1 in 2 children. So your child may not be autistic, but there's forms that are associated with autism. If it's has attention deficit, if it's moody, if it starts shouting or crying at the smallest thing, if it can't sit still, if it's not watching the phone, if it's not interacting with a what I call electronic agent, that's not healthy. If you're not happy, if you're not able to sit down as a family and have a dinner where the child sits at the table without looking at the phone or a tablet or anything else, you have a problem. You have a big problem. and it's going to get worse.
And I tell you, not just that, but also eating, constant eating. I don't really go much to public because I'm very busy in what I do. But for the last couple days, I was invited to a couple events. So I went, and I don't know, I'm telling you, it's like I'm coming up from the cave or something. So I went to these parties and I look around what people eat, how they eat, and I'm just learning, because for me it's learning experience. I live in my own bubble, but I don't really think. And let's say I never eat at the events and stuff like that. But being in this family and just watching a variety of children, how they behave and what they eat. I know you might say, Hava, what the hell happened to you? But yeah, for me it's interesting. And I want to tell you that people overeat. This is what I've seen from my observation. People in the events, they overeat. They just eat nonstop. They finish the meal, then they eat more, and then they eat nuts. They finish with the nuts, then they eat fruits. They finish with fruits, then they have a baked goods, then the baked goods, they go back again. It's like the mouth never shuts. And I'm like, how much we can eat as a society. So that's one thing that I've seen it. I was in shock. And they finish the meal and then they continue then doing marshmallows and finish the marshmallows and then more donuts. Oh my goodness, so much food. So that's one problem. The next problem I've seen, that the children barely play again, with themselves. They're like right away rushing to this device, like what you said. And the sad part is no more communication, no more, or either they're watching the movies or they're watching the sport and just like all hooked into it. And it's like, it's sad to see what is happening. It's absolutely upsetting. But what I learned is just we do overeat. I mean, it's just we cannot have conversation without it's like,
That's what I'm saying, that everybody in the United States, to a certain extent, has a problem with a destroyed microbiome.
yes,
And the children who watch something electronic and don't eat, they are also not helping their body rebuild itself. There's many studies now that show this. And what I'm saying to people, one of the most important things you can do is get on a really good probiotic supplementation. Don't, buying stuff from a place like that's sitting on the shelf. I can just tell you, as the author of 2 standards and sat on for 10 years on standards committee, it's worthless. A lot of the products you buy are worthless because the guarantees don't mean anything. Why? There's no government agency checking anything unless somebody gets violently ill, then they go in and check.
right.
So we have a complete breakdown of knowledge, of morals, of what makes people healthy and what doesn't make them. And so what we have to do is we have to do a paradigm shift. We have to learn how to talk to our children. We have to make sure that every child that's born in North America should be on a specific, correct probiotic regimen. You have to watch their diet. You have to watch what they're taught to read and write, and that they have enough sunshine and playtime outside, and they're not hooked to these machines, because these machines do destroy the cellular structure of your body. We can do that in another show. The EMFs, we know, and if it destroys your cellular structure, I can assure you it's destroying bacteria in your body. And you don't want to be destroying the good bacteria, because somehow the way we were designed, the pathogens have a much bigger tolerance to adverse things than the beneficial bacteria. So we destroy our beneficial bacteria much more rapidly than we do the bad ones. And when the bad ones are not cornered and allowed to overgrow, then they start producing more toxins. And then when Western medicine says, oh, you have an autoimmune disease. I can tell you right now, from being in this field for 60 years, every autoimmune disease has an origin in the gut. You can have genetic predisposition, but if you don't trigger those genes with either toxins that bacteria produce or toxins that you eat, and you don't have enough proper bacteria to eliminate those toxins, you're going to have a gene event. And the way we were taught in the West is that, oh, the genes are responsible. No, they're not. You are responsible. You're in control of what happens to your genes.
I agree with you. I think it's very important for people to understand. And you know, you look at the kids, they look very pale and skinny, or overweight or skinny, and or either they have a bulging stomach, or they're so skinny that it's really bones on bones. And you see the children, and it's yeah, I mean, it's really upsetting that we are in this kind position. But listen, we should never give up. There's a holiday upcoming, and hopefully new year will bring us you know, a new how I would say, a new way. I don't know how I would say the holiday, each holiday, it's actually a way to look and reflect and rebuild. And I think that each holiday brings some light with it. And the light is just
Right.
from what was, and don't go back on the same mistakes, and change it. Do it.
Okay, and also I'm going to say that no matter what you and I say, people are going to overeat. And the
Right.
craziest part to me, I said, this
Yeah.
is when you need the most amount of a real good probiotic like the Trenev Trio or the Superdophilus and the powders, then waiting until a new year. Yes, you're probably going to need it in New Year, but you need it now when your body's being abused. You need it now because you're processing, like you said, too much food. The body can't deal with it. And so then you wonder why all of a sudden you get something at the beginning of the year. Why? Because your body is not processing food. It's not eliminating toxins. It's probably, overly stimulated from whatever. You probably drank too much, ate too much, and then you're not taking care of your body. At least if you're planning to abuse your body, give it some help. Don't wait until it's so down that now it's going to take you 3 months to recover. And I think really, and I'm saying this with all sincerity, if you're living in the United States of America, you probably should be on a good probiotic every day. And I'll tell you why just even eating plain yogurt is not enough anymore. Because why? My family introduced Bulgarian style yogurt in the 1960s to America. And then the people were much more healthier. So that was a good source of some good bacteria. But now it's not enough. It's not enough because the problem is much more severe. It's like trying to put a Band-Aid on an amputated arm. It's a good concept, but not enough to really cover what's going on. You can eat, plain yogurt as a functional food. If you really want to have a better functional food, then get our yogurt starter. But right now, we're not making progress. All these people with the parasite cleanses, with the colon cleanses, with this diet, with that diet, the population in the United States is getting more sick. There's a small percentage that's getting better, but in general, the major population is getting more sick, and we're coming to the point where the whole medical system will collapse because it won't be able to handle all the people who are going to be coming in with all of these chronic illnesses. And we need to really get back to good diet, good probiotic supplementation. Stop listening to all these people giving you quick fixes, because obviously if they haven't worked in the last 20 years, they're not going to work now. And start, engaging in what we call critical thinking. Use what's between your ears. You have a ability to discern, and don't wait for quick fixes by somebody giving you a magic pill. It doesn't exist.
Yep. On that note, I also would say once you restore your microbiome, which takes time, it's also I really want to tell people that it takes time to rebuild it. I'll tell you that myself, it taking me, I would say, a couple months of really working on myself, and I'm the one who is aware, and I'm the one who understands, and I myself learning about myself, and the beauty is that I want to heal myself, and while I'm doing this, I'm sharing this with everyone as well. But and you need to understand, if for me it takes time, for people who never tried before, and even just connecting to their mind, to their God, and to their God microbiome, microbiome, to understanding all this. It takes time. So work with love and patience. You need to understand it takes time. And there is no quick fix. I usually say the problem didn't develop in a day. People, if they get a disease,
How much we
40,
sold today?
60, it's not happen in a day. It's not just the one day body decide, oh, now I'm going to go broken, and now you suddenly have a high blood pressure, this pressure, that problem. Like, it's not. It's a time. And I actually was listening to the Dr. Bolotov, which speaks about the hydrochloric acid, and speaks about a lot about fermented food. And he speaks, and he even makes it a special drinks with using fermented yogurt. And always this person is speaking about how to bring back and restore the proper microbiome. That means this person, who is, I think he's 94 or 95 years old, he passed away, unfortunately, I think 2 years ago. But all what he spoke, regenerate the cells. The cells been regenerated only if we restore our microbiome, and microbiome is only restored if we're eating fermented food, because the fermented foods are the ones that contains the bacteria that we need. So this is all about. That's all what they spoke about. It's just, it's mind blowing. I'm reading on the Russian. In Russian language, it takes me time, but you read all this, and it's all about what you're saying. And that makes so much sense. And I just really want to people to understand. That's why we so rely on this. And what you said, Natasha, was so important, that we ate fruits seasonally. We didn't eat fruit, watermelons in the winter time. Nobody had watermelon now. And people have a snowing outside and they're munching on a watermelon. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Eat seasonal food, eat food that you can preserve, doing compote. It's actually an amazing way of getting more, I think, satisfied fruit, more satisfaction from fruits, I would say. And it's easier on your gut. Berries, right? When I lived in Poland, I remember that people would pick the berries, but they would wash them, but they would prepare from them a jello. So that means they even didn't eat them fresh. They would prepare them as delicious, like a gelatin, and this is how they would consume. And I'm like, now I'm thinking about that, there was probably meaning to it, why they've been doing that.
Yeah. It's usually generation upon generation of learning from mistakes. And, every society tries to keep the majority of their people healthy. And we've lost it in the United States. And I'm telling you, unfortunately for us, the food that they're selling as fermented food now is not at all adequate to what we've done inside to our gut. That's why I stayed. I should have, I'm 78. I'm still working every day. Why? Because I see the field that I introduce is completely, people got confused. They don't know. They just buy stuff off the shelf. They think the person who's producing this knows something. It's completely like everybody's lost any standards. Anybody can say anything they want, as long as they're not making health claim to offend the pharmaceutical industry. They can say whatever they want, and people believe it, and they go run out and buy it. And I say to people, have we changed anything about the health of our public in this country in the last 5 years? No, we haven't. In fact, we're getting worse. The children are getting sicker. We're getting sicker. The amount of chronic diseases and the amount of people who are going to need help is exceeding exponential proportions.
Right.
And so the people don't want to listen. People don't, they think we're trying to sell them something, or we're trying to give them something. No, you and I are here to teach people what the right thing is to do. If they don't want to listen, then we can't help them. If they think this is just some pitch to sell something, they're on the wrong show. The point is, no, I'm serious. The point is that,
100%.
yeah, and we have to get the word out, because people, they don't know. They go buy prepared foods. They go and buy stuff from vendors. There's nobody except the health department just checking once in 2 years if you're not don't have a contaminated place. That's it. There's no there's nobody else checking to see if you really have what you have in your product that's listed on the label. No one.
True. True.
And especially in the dietary supplement field, there's no one checking those labels. You don't even know where that stuff comes from. And I can tell you, stuff coming in from the Far East is trouble because they don't have the same standards, they don't have the same belief system. And if it's too cheap, you better not buy it. Because I tell people, inexpensive is good, but cheap is not good at any price.
You know, we're gonna answer this question. How about fruit while getting rid of the candida?
No, you can't have fruit. Sorry, no
Okay,
fruit.
so this is the answer. And I actually wanted to tell you about this thing everybody's speaking now about this some sort of a yogurt or some sort of a supplement that comes from Ukraine with a special strain. Would you like to speak a little bit about it?
It's the same kind of urban legends that started with the kombucha. With kombucha was a natural medicine that was prepared by families who knew. And even now, if you check, they recommend that you don't drink more than 4 ounces of it a day. And
Right.
even then, I suspect it's not good. But this stuff this information coming from the Ukraine is an urban legend. It started after Chernobyl, and they had some organisms that they supposedly tested over there in some kind of a fermented food, but nobody knows who the real researchers were, and the researcher didn't have access to the bacteria. So then they came with a story to this country, and they're buying it from some supplier in Canada, and they don't even know where the supplies are coming from, or if they're stable, or if they're live. And this is the problem with our public. They believe any story that somebody comes, I'm going to give you a magic pill and I'm going to fix you and it's not going to cost you a lot. We got to stop doing this because I can tell you, I've been in this field 60 years. There is no magic fix. I would give it to you. The real magic pill is really the Trenev trio. I mean, that's the pill that I've had somebody from mainland China actually travel to Hong Kong. He was a doctor working with a famous institute, but I'm not allowed to mention. Went to Hong Kong because they couldn't ship it into mainland China and test our Trinif Trio for 2 weeks. He said it's the most phenomenal product he has ever tried in his adult life. And he was close to his mid 50s. So time and again, I have people who have tried other products who have the knowledge to evaluate, tell me there's nothing like it. And that's what I'm telling to people. What we've lost is other people like me in the dietary industry. They've been bought out, merged by. I can't even trust anybody to tell them buy from this person or that person. I have to check everything out because I really don't know who to trust anymore.
True.
You
Very true.
know,
I
Eh,
mean,
eh,
unfortunately, that what I'm trying to say that we're so blessed that we have somebody who still cares, and not it's only not about the profit, and it's really about restoring the health and I think this is it's a blessing because what me and you we see in this business it's how easy people get persuaded just for to getting richer
yeah.
or making more money, and unfortunately this is the saddest part, and again we are not here just to get rich on your backs. We're here to really restore the health, and that's the difference. The difference is that I don't want to sell you something that will make, like, I don't understand even all this thing. People become sales people. It's not about sales. If you cannot afford the, let's say, the trio, we always give you an option. There is a different strain bacteria. We can combine them together. It's for people who even don't have any money. We teach you how to make this yogurt by using Natasha's
Mm.
classical strain. So you can make it yourself. See, this is all about restoring and rebuilding and bringing back what we lost. And this is all about, we're not selling you anything else. It's just really the knowledge and the basic common sense. And the common sense is hard in our times because as you always say,
Mm.
much noise outside, and it's very hard. I'm telling you, it's very hard, but hopefully that we will be able to create some change.
Yeah, uh, it really, the future is up to all of us because I've seen we're hitting rock bottom, guys. We are hitting rock bottom. And the number of people who are reaching out to me, I love you, but I can't possibly help all of you. We have to get, as I said, I agree with you, Hava. Let's get a network of mothers. We have to start turning this stuff around. And please, for God's sakes, people, stop listening to the next person who's going to offer you a miracle. There is no miracles. The stuff that's being sold is just created to make money. It's not to help you. There's absolutely nobody looking out for standards. And I love that Robert Kennedy Jr. is taking care of our health and services in this country, but it's going to take a decade. It's not going to happen overnight. No matter how hard he works, the the philosophy and the brainwashing is so deeply entrenched in us that we can't see the forest because of the tree.
Right. I think the foundation is unfortunately been destroyed, and we need to destroy this foundation and bring new one. So it will take time. It will take time to
Yes.
put the base and start slowly building them. And what you say correctly is to it's it will take another generation to finally realize what is happening.
Yeah.
But I think that we live in a time that everything is just so quickly, and I think that maybe because of computers and because there is more access, hopefully that people will hear and will receive our message. That's all what I'm praying for.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's what I'm trying to tell you, that if you want people like me to stay, then you have to show your appreciation. And I'm being very sincere because I get so many silly questions. People don't even know basic things in life anymore. People don't understand how their body works. They don't understand anything about diet. They're so confused because they're constantly being bombarded with some kind of a pitch. Today, I can just tell you there was a pitch, and I'm dealing with people. They're promising you this Jello diet. It turns out that there's no Jello in the diet. They're selling you a pill with 4 different ingredients that's supposed to uh, gimmick the body into believing it's being supplemented with this, things that it's found in Ozempic, the GLP-1. And there's so many people selling deceptions. There's so many people that most people don't even know what the heck they're buying at the end. And they're pushing you, buy 3 bottles of this, buy 6 bottles of that. And I said to people, okay, so how many bottles did you buy and how quickly did it get you better? It's not. It's not. Most of it is just made, 90% is geared to making profit. 10% is maybe what they have the ingredients in there. And that's what you all have to wake up to. It's got to be made in this country. The material has to be sourced from either Canada, America, or the EU. You have to have somebody that's checking the ingredients. Other than that, you're just wasting your money and time.
I agree with you. I agree. Interesting that people joining us now when we are closing. We're in closing to the already, but I think what slowly it will settle in people's mind, and hopefully the people will understand. And as we mentioned prior, that all the imbalance and the happening in the body is because of our gut imbalance. So this is your job now in the holidays. Be aware. I didn't say what I mentioned, seeing people overeating, it's not new. I know that people doing that, but I'm saying just, and I'm putting out there so that way you will be aware. So you will connect back to your mind and you will understand, am I eating too much? Maybe I should stop. It's okay. I can tomorrow try. This is the whole idea, is that connecting to yourself, back to yourself, stop listening, cut the noise, go back to your own voice. That's the beauty of it. If you eat something and you overeat, then ask. It's okay if you overeat today, but then figure out why. Maybe there was emotional imbalance, or maybe you're hungry, and you're hungry because whatever you eat you don't absorb. So then go back again and restore your microbiome, and then you'll see
Right.
results. It's just so easy, and then you will see you're not gonna need 100 different capsules of a different medications. You're not gonna need not the hormonal supplements. You're not gonna need all these supplementations. You might just need one or two. You need the one as a base to restore the gut microbiome, but then you need, let's say, for that specific issue, either cough syrup in times of need, or some herbal preparation. But that's it, solve the problem and continue further. But do not live on those supplements. People in the health business, I want to tell you that I've seen many people who are promoting sometimes up to 20, 30 different supplements. This is crazy. We don't need that. I remember one guy I've met, and he would basically would tell to his clients, and he would show the whole table was full of about 20 different supplements. I'm like, this is not health. What is this? And each supplement over $100, $200. This is not reality. This is not good. This is how we can continue living life.
No. Anybody who sells you a supplement to treat just a symptom, it doesn't know how the body functions. We may tell you that by changing your microbiome, the symptom will go away. But whenever we give you one of the, Proton products, the products are designed to help your body heal itself. This is a completely different concept. We're not offering you just a symptomatic relief. It will come depending on how well you take the product and how disciplined you are. But the product will deliver results. What I'm saying to you, before the holidays, I know we're like 2 or 3 days before Christmas. A Christmas Eve is in 2 days and Christmas Day is in 3 days. Please, even if you're not celebrating Christmas, you have friends that celebrate, you'll be invited to parties. Please don't trash your body, because this is the worst time in the history of this nation that you should trash your body, because the consequences are very serious. And that's all my plea is to everybody, that you can't treat your body like a garbage can and then hope to be healthy.
I agree with you. I
Yeah.
agree. Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Yeah.
everyone who joined us. Have a wonderful and happy holidays. Hopefully, you're
Yes.
enjoying today another wonderful segment and episodes with the mother of probiotics and Hava. Looking forward, continue to
Right.
see the light together with you, Natasha. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you, everyone. Happy holidays. Enjoy.
Amazing. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.